Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 113 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man, Sean's Custom Model Tools, and Return to Kit Form. My name is Stuart Clark, and I am once again joined by, shall we say, freshly restored or wanting a break from the North Shore of Lake Erie after being on cool grandparent duty, guest host of the B&B to the Stars, Mr. Jeff Highland. How are you, sir?
I am recovering quietly and slowly, although my grandkids did make this for me, which none of the viewers can see, but it's a lovely wristband.
Yeah.
Granddad, Pirates, bunk bed. Because that's all that they care about here.
Well, they got the Pirates, they got the bunk beds, hey, and they got Grandpa. You were showing it off at our IPMS club meeting and last week, so that's all right.
They're impressed. I haven't taken it off yet, so
that's good. That's good. You got to keep, you got to keep all that good Grandpa mojo. I'm just saying.
But I'm not alone.
I know.
We have another guest tonight.
We have fresh from the fields of west of Chicagoland, where they get the weather before we do, but spring is slowly arriving. Mr. Terry Measley.
Good evening, gentlemen. Spring is arriving. Things are greening up, and then it got cold, but it is still March.
Fake winter. Well, let's just keep our fingers crossed, because when this comes out, so we're recording this on Monday the 20th. I'm hoping to have it out for Saturday a little bit early, because by the time you hear this, we will be at Heritage Con. We are very much looking forward to it. All three of us there. I believe Mr. Goodman will be joining us as well. Also, we're going to have some other podcasts there. Kentucky Dave and Mike from the Plastic Model Mojo, and one or two other people may be showing up as well. So, we're going to be there. We're hoping to meet as many of our fans as possible. We'll be up in our usual bird's nest up overlooking the show. There's rumors Jeff's going to have some entries. Terry's going to have some entries, and lots of stuff happening, lots of interviews. So
yeah, I've got to get my stuff packed up. I've actually got a bunch of stuff to bring along.
So tell us, okay, we'll start with Terry. Terry, what are you bringing?
Well, I'll bring along that Cavalier Turbo Mustang, of course.
Excellent.
And the civilian version of the Babs. That's done.
Awesome.
Those Zentradi and Earth Force, what was the name of the Earth? Whatever.
Yeah.
Those ships are ready, and there might be one or two other things. I have to look and see what's in the front of the cabinet there.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll bring along the P-43 just to prove that I built it.
That's all right. Exactly. It's going to be good. Mr. Jeff, what are you bringing?
Well, I was bringing, obviously I'm going to bring the Moosaroo Cup entry.
Well, we have to have the winning entry there, yes.
No. So it can be suitably laughed at by all the other podcasts.
I doubt it highly.
But
the pictures look great.
Yeah.
You know what? Cameras, photography, it's magic.
It is. But that's all right. That's all right.
But I'm also hoping to bring my CL52, the P47 conversion.
Yeah.
Avro test bed. I was getting it all fixed up today, and one of the wings came off. So back to work.
It's foldable for landing on the aircraft carrier. That's all right.
That's right. B-47 landing on
easy to transport. Well, Terry, Jeff had it at our IPMS London meeting last week, and he got rave reviews on it. So
excellent.
Yeah, very impressed with it.
The pictures look great. I love the chipped up, beat up day glow panels and everything.
Well, that's quite a compliment coming from you with that Cavalier. That's awesome.
No, they're going to be good stuff. I will be bringing nothing because I'm bringing all the recording gear and everything. So, but that's fine. No, we have our new Zoom recorder. I've discovered that the camcorder I've been using, it has a time lapse function. So I'll be able to do a good time lapse this year. I used an old iPhone in previous years, and that old iPhone finally died. But yeah, the camcorder has a nice time lapse function. So we're going to set that up again. And again, we'll be out on the floor doing interviews and stuff like that. We'll also hopefully live stream the Moosaroo Cup announcement. We'll see Jeff. We will see Jeff do the victory dance.
It's not going to happen. I guarantee.
Well, you never know. You never know.
I do not know. But if Terry couldn't win last year with that magnificent thing he did, I can't.
Well, he was robbed. He was.
It was
robbed. The appropriate bribery, I'm sure, will be coming.
The posability on that did not do it any. The lack of posability on that did not do it any advantages.
Well, you need to have the Kershaw Stewart pose. That's what you really needed.
There we go. That's always a winner. So yeah, also we're really blessed finally in Southwestern in Ontario. We're finally getting some model shows this year. So Torcan's going to be coming up. That's going to be in the area of Toronto, surprisingly enough. That's hosted by, I believe, the Peel Scale Modelers. Or Toronto IPMS. I always forget which one. I always get in trouble.
Toronto IPMS.
Yeah, Toronto IPMS. No, it's Peel Scale Modelers. See, there you go. I'm glad I checked the poster.
I stand corrected.
Saturday.
I apologize for Peel Scale Modelers.
Yeah, Saturday, May 27th. That's in Brampton, Ontario, the west side of Toronto. So rather convenient for Jeff and myself. Then, of course, the one Jeff and I are really involved with, the Southwestern Ontario Scale Model Expo. That is a go. That's going to be for September 23rd here in London, Ontario. We're just doing the final nailing down of the venue. Looks like it's going to be Fanshawe College this year. But Jeff and I are very heavily involved with that. We're going to have an awesome new venue, lots of good size, lots of vendors, hopefully. Always a good time there. And
it's going to be double. It's going to be double the size of our previous.
Just about double the size. Yeah, lots of room. Then of course there's Commies Fest. Terry, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's out in Region 10 up in Englewood, Colorado. It's a bunch of friends of mine from Wonderfest run the show. And it's a good show apparently. I've not been, but everything I see from it is excellent. I guess the guys up there get snowed in the wintertime and have time to do nothing but build.
Well, they also going to have some pretty cool food trucks. They got a dessert
I
food
saw
truck.
that.
Hip hop handcrafted gelato bars. They got like smash burgers, hot dog, Chicago style. This is making me hungry. Lots of good demos.
Trust you to focus on the food truck.
Well, it's right there. They put it on the Facebook page. What can I say? I don't see a Bacon Buddy truck. We got to get one for our show. Just like the one they had at the Wool. Yeah. We need to. You remember they had that at the Wool show. That's what kept that's what kept all the spouses going during the Wool show. We could hang out there. All they needed was beer. We'd be all set, right?
Yeah.
But
beer and defibrillators, perfect.
Yeah. Well, okay. See, they got sides here. The food truck: mac and cheese, chili, fries, tater tots, and onion rings.
It's a smash burgers truck or something.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Man, that looks fantastic.
I know. Yeah. Because I know a good friend of the show, Dave Blappy-Gertan. He's often on the commies calls on weekends and that, so he's a big fan of them.
Whole bunch of demos in 2 separate rooms.
Yeah, look at that 3D printing, rigging. Mr. Bonani's going to be there. Joe Bonani. Yeah, Brian Kruger.
And it is March 25th. So by the time you hear this, it will already have happened, most likely.
Sad but true. Sad but true. But there we go. I know a lot of shows. You were saying that, Terry. A lot of shows on that date.
There is a bunch of shows on March 25th. What is there? There's 6 of them.
Holy cow! See, we can't be everywhere. Okay, but we're going to wrap up here in Ontario. Capcom. That's the IPMS Ottawa. They're doing their show on Saturday, October the 14th. And it's going to be at the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa, Ontario. So a little bit smaller than the Warplane Heritage Museum, but still a fantastic show, fantastic venue for it. And our good friends at IPMS Ottawa will be there for that. So I know our club president, probably a couple of our members will be going up to that. I'm going to see if I can nail an interview during Hamilton, because I know they're all coming down. So we'll see if we can nail some interviews for that. So
yeah, and we do bring people on once in a while to talk about the show. So if you're listening and you're helping to organize and you want to spend 15 minutes with us or something,
Yeah.
telling us about the show,
Please
contact us, please.
Reach out.
Yeah.
Scale Model Podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and just because we're involved with the Southwestern Ontario Scale Model Exposition doesn't mean we consider it a competitive thing. Not at all.
No, we think it's all good. And there's also one other show in the Guelph area, Welcome, but they're going to be, looks like they're moving their date. They may have been an issue because they're following the day after Ottawa right now, but they're decided to change their date. And as of the time we're recording this, they don't have a revised date yet. So again, it'll be nice to have some shows to travel to again. All right. Also some, I will say unfortunate news, but realistic news from our good friends and sponsors at Return to Kit Form. They're scaling back a bit. Brett and Chrissy, they have two kids, two little ones that are growing up. So they're going to scale back a bit. The other issue is the increased shipping tax and the application of import tax. They're no longer viable to continue as the international distributor for Moscato Hobby Models. So all open orders from them will be transferred to John Moscato. If you haven't heard and you got an email yet, reach out to John Moscato and they'll make some arrangements for you. I've put links from both companies in the show notes from Facebook just to indicate what's going on. So if you're an overseas patron, recently ordered a 1/350th horizontal for ship with Return to Kit Form, please send a private message. But they're still going to be around for their absolute amazing Macross stuff, absolute fantastic Macross canopy masks, etc. So we wish them both nothing but the best.
Yep.
There you go. All right.
And we thank them for their continuing sponsorship.
Oh, always. Yeah, we always enjoy having them there. And one other thing I should point out about Heritage Con, we are sponsoring a category there, and as part of the prize there, in addition to a medal, you're going to get a super sanding block set. And we're also putting a super sanding block set on behalf of the podcast into the raffle.
Which category might that be, Stuart?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was the sci-fi category. I knew you were going to ask me that. I think we did a sci-fi category.
Okay,
if great. I recall. I don't recall. And I meant to get that earlier, but hey, there you go. All right. You know what? People are just going to have to enter something and everything, so that way they know for sure. We'll keep it a secret. There you go.
And of course, just for the record, I'm assuming that none of us can win.
Of course not.
But Terry might.
Terry might. Terry might. Yeah. If he does, he can decide what he wants to do. He can always give it to second place or something. All right. I got an email from Beacon Models just to remind us that their Kickstarter is complete and they are doing some absolutely amazing 1-144 World War II fighters. And they've been released out for a little while, and we're starting to see some pictures of some of these. And frankly, just amazing work. So again, I've got a link to a Facebook thing showing some completed builds. And again, this is tiny. This is like 1-144. So there's one here of a crashed 109 in a field in Kent. And yeah, you get the idea of the size there.
That's got to be less than 2-inch wingspan for that.
Well, yeah, look at the size of the coin. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but they do make the cowling can be done as a separate part and stuff like that. But yeah, just amazing what people are doing. So no, we had them on for the Kickstarter, and we did mention that they were available now. But yep, you can order directly from Beacon now, and these are Wingnut Wing guys. So definitely check them out. They got some cool stuff. Not only do they have the model kit in the 109, they got extra decals. They've got an REF dispersal figure, has a 3D print models. They've got pilots, etc. So definitely check them out. I would be all over these, but that's just too tiny for me. I know my limits. But
pilots in 144. Pilots in 144.
Yeah, they're molded in. It doesn't take that much painting. The tiny ones like
just
that.
Don't sneeze. Just don't sneeze or breathe wrong. Exactly. Yeah. So Will and Brian have done an absolutely fantastic job. We look forward to seeing what they're going to come out with next. So kudos to Beacon. All right, moving on. as I go through my wonderful show notes. Trumpeter in April. April's right around the corner. 2 new kits. The Mi-4A Hound in 1/48 scale. This is a Soviet mid-level, mid-size helicopter. So 1/48 is going to be a big size. So the first model entered service in 52 and replaced the Mi-1. Yeah, a lot of them in use. Nice looking kit. It's a newly molded kit. 50s era helicopter for transport and that. You got some clear canopies. Here we go. 340 millimeters. So 34 centimeters in length, 43 centimeters the rotor width. So big.
Yeah, that's that's about a foot, give or take, right?
Yep, exactly.
To tail.
Exactly. And the back end opens up. So, lots of detailing possibilities there. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. Next up is HMS Colombo 1/700 scale. This is a British light cruiser that was launched in December 18th, commissioned in 1919. So interwar. So it was one of the 28 C-class cruisers in the Far East. It entered the reserve, returned into active service for World War II, operated mainly in the Indian Ocean Basin. In 42 to 43, it was converted into an anti-aircraft cruiser. The unit happily survived and was not sold for scrap until 1928. So you get a nice selection of photo etch parts there. Nice looking ship, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
cruiser from that era. So yeah,
does look nice. I always say this: if that was 350th, I'd be tempted, but I probably wouldn't buy.
There you go.
Anyway, but yeah,
no, looks
I do
good.
love seeing these ships though, and some of these classes that were, underrepresented for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
nice.
Yeah, it does. So then, like Trumpeter, its sister company, brother company, Hobby Boss, they have 2 new items. Look, a 135th, another Russian vehicle, a Vitash surface-to-air missile system. This is a big kit. This is going to be $213 in US dollars. It's a new mobile ground air defense system. This was developed in the early 90s, unveiled in 98. It's mainly aimed at the export market. So yeah, just pretty large looking kit. So you got the 8-wheel truck.
Yep. Look at all the spruce. I mean, there's a lot of parts here.
Look at the decals.
I know, it's beautiful.
All the missiles and,
Yeah, it's a lot of S300 or 400.
Yep. 345 or 34 centimeters in length, 80 in width. So again, good size, again, almost a foot. 840 parts, 23 sprues. And those aren't tracks.
4 axles.
Yeah.
Only 8 wheels.
3 photo etch press.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
So again, good size, masking, of course, for the transparent parts. It's good to see that in tank kits. And this one here is interesting. I could see some people whining, why is it not in 72nd? The Shangxing KJ500 in 1:144 scale. This is their latest version of their AWACS platform, the early warning aircraft. So this is based on the AN-12 four turboprop aircraft. Yeah, so basically, yeah, it looks like a flying saucer getting frisky with the aircraft.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yep.
It is neat. I like the color scheme.
Yeah, that is very attractive.
Yeah, it's very attractive with the blue, with the,
very maritime scheme.
Yep. Yeah. Again, very popular. These are capital assets. So, yeah, definitely. 120 parts, 23 centimeters in length, 26 in width.
So not that huge. No.
Nope. Well, 1:144, right? So.
Oh, right. Yeah. You said 72nd, and my mind got stuck on second.
No.
72nd.
I'm sure some people would. I'm sure some people were going, "When's the 72nd scale out?" When you build the new wing to the house.
If enough people buy the smaller one, maybe we'll get a bigger one.
I just look at all those little tiny antennas, and I shudder about. I'll break those off in no time. But that's just me because I'm clumsy. A little Freda photo etch too. So that's going to be available in April from distributors worldwide. Okay, company detail and wonder. We've covered them before, but this is for the Tamiya's already amazingly detailed F-35. but this is the landing gear set for the 148th, which looks absolutely gorgeous. But more important, something we don't see a lot of is FOD covers.
Yes.
Before flight and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and this is a great, especially for people who hate doing intake seams. Not that there's really an issue on this particular kit, because they handled that with the design. But yeah, landing gear, burner cannon, and FOD covers. So our friends at the Modeling News have a full up pictures with showing some detail, including a test of the landing gear underweight. They
Holy
crap.
they put some pretty heavy things on there, and the thing's standing up.
Yeah, those are balanced calibration weights on this thing. Look at that.
Yep, 3D printed and nicely metal parts for the hydraulic shafts, metal shafts, and even a nice metal etched nameplate. Nicely protected, the parts. When you look at the pictures there.
That's just stunning.
Yeah.
Just
absolutely gorgeous. And then they've also, as a separate part, you've got the nozzles, including FOD covers. This is the nozzles and the FOD covers, 3D printed.
Wow. I mean, you guys have to look at this. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just amazing. And and again, you look at the nozzle, the Tamiya part, which is, considering it's injected molded, it looks pretty damn good on its own. But then you look at the D&W part.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful stuff.
Yep. So very good. You can get them through our friends at Hobby Easy. We have a lot of friends, but everyone's a friend in the model space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Hobby Easy's out of Hong Kong, I believe. All right. Then we have from DasWorks. We have some more information. They actually got some of we talked about this, the LARCV early version. This was their amphibious cargo vehicle. This is developed in the United States during the 50s, and it's still being used in some cases.
Yeah, essentially it's a small duck.
Yeah, basically a modern version of the duck. Yep.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Used in a bunch of five marking choices. Vietnam, Portugal, early 70s, the Marines and all that. So yeah, it's nice to see. They're promising it for the end of April 2023.
These DasWorks guys just keep hitting good solid hits.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's in cooperation with Geico Models, and they've been doing some good stuff too. So you can't go wrong with that. That's pretty cool. All right.
I looked at the side view pictures on the page, and the thing that jumped out to me immediately was the Antarctic expedition from the 1940s or the 30s, where they had that big vehicle with the plane on top.
Yeah.
I just immediately thought of that. I don't know why. And
you know what? You could always make a modern one with a drone.
It's those big balloon tires that do it.
Yeah, I think
they were terrible in the Antarctic, but on a beach they're probably pretty good.
Exactly.
Yep.
Anyway, never mind.
All right, on to our good friends, Special Hobby, who always updates their website. So I'm pleased to do this. So this is a box. I'll look at the box of the A20G Havoc, the low altitude raider. This is an all new tool of the A20 Havoc, which hasn't been done in so long. I built one from Matchbox years ago. So one's a US one, one's an RAAF one. Which wore a rather unusual combination of both U.S. Army Air Force and Australian markings. Plus, it shows what's in the box. So nice looking kit, nicely molded, very crisp.
I love that they include masking, like all the clear bits. So particularly on a bomber with these windows, this is just great.
Exactly. So you got the maskings available. And quite a few parts for masking there. What, 27, I think? No, 20, 30, 31. Up to 31. Yeah, I see that there. So that's pretty cool.
It's the gun nose, the hard nose version.
That's what I built. Yeah, I built the gun nose version.
It's set for two different noses, though, so they'll probably have a clear nose version, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But yeah, that was a very popular one, served with distinction, mainly in the Far East. There was a few in Europe.
A lot of nations used the Havocs.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the Pacific, they were perfect for those island campaigns and patrols like that.
Right. Okay, next we have up from Machine and Krieger universe. One I know Jeff's taking an interest in because he's gonna tell you later how we got him totally sucked in to Gundams. But we saw this one, and this is just gorgeous. So this is the Artpla Custer, a set of two, 1/35th scale, and they're basically robots. Imagine short little robots with like rotary cannon. You get a
Just
pack
fabulous.
of two. Yeah. One in green plastic, one in tan. This is this new 2-in-1 boxing of the Machine and Krieger SF3D series Cruster bipedal walker. Yeah. Very
When
cool.
I think of Machine and Krieger, I think of these and the Nut Rocker Hover Tank. Those are the two things that are sort of iconic for me.
Well,
I love these.
And you got a beautiful decal scheme, including a lot of familiar logos in that for Machine Krieger fans.
So much
yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Gotta
beautifully cast too, eh?
Yeah,
it looks well done.
Looks very, very well done. I think that's got some possibilities.
Lots of fun.
And again, whoever did the weathering, they've got a few painted up and weathered. Good fun to practice your weathering skills on those. And I believe, $43 US out of HobbyLink Japan, coming out in June 2023. Jeff, just saying.
June 2020. Okay, well, there you go.
We'll talk to our friends at Neo Tokyo. Maybe they can get them for you.
I bet you they can.
All right, another one on Jeff's gotta have list. I seem to have this was just I'm just looking. I wasn't really looking at winding up Jeff. At least to this extent. Armor Modeling Group, AMG, they're going to release soon. I got this from Aeroscale in 1:144, an all-new molding of the XB-70 Valkyrie. That, of course, is the supersonic strategic bomber. That is an absolute monster. 6 engines.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Quintessential
60s.
Yeah, and these guys are a product of the Ukraine, so you got to support them. You got NASA schemes, Air Force schemes. It's even got a bloody bomb inside. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get yourself a 1/144th F-104 too.
Of course,
Well, or an F-108.
Or that way
you go F-108.
Yeah, different. There's your different diorama.
Yeah, exactly. Depends what you want to do. If you want to do that tragic day, let's
not do the tragic day.
Yeah, okay, there you go. We were commenting before the show. There's been a few of these much older, and someone did one in 1/48th or 1/32nd, probably HPH or something.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was in 32nd. It was massive.
Again, you need a whole wing. This way, you can still put it on the shelf. So probably coming soon to Jeff's shelf. We're just saying.
Oh, I love this. This is beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? You can do a fictional Canadian scheme too for it.
I wonder if you can raise the outer wings.
You probably could with a bit of surgery. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, very nice.
Maybe. Okay.
Oh, no. The HPH, by the way, is too. That was 1/48th.
Okay. I thought someone did one. Anyway, we'll figure it out eventually. Okay, and here's the third one. And this one I like too. This is a repop of the classic. I think this is a Revell release.
Yeah, it was Monogram back.
Monogram? Okay. Yeah. The Boeing SST Supersonic Transport in 1/400th. This was a mock-up that Boeing did of what, when everyone was talking SSTs. You have decals for 2 versions. I assume Boeing and probably, Eastern Airlines or something. This will be coming out from Atlantis March 29th. $20 US, so not bad. Not a huge kit.
That's 1/400th scale.
Yeah, exactly.
9.5 inches. It says
it was going to be the Boeing.
Very simple.
Yeah, the Boeing 2707. They won the contract. The design emerged as a large aircraft with seating for 250 to 300 with cruise speeds around Mach 3. It was the entire SST concept was the subject of considerable negative press. The issue of sonic booms and effects on the ozone layer. It did have a swing wing, but rising costs and the lack of a clear market led to its cancellation in 71. So it never flew, but it still looks cool.
The ones I really like? I really like that the Boeing 707 kit just down below there.
Oh, down below on the same
they're
thing.
Releasing a bunch of these older monograms.
Atlantis is really releasing a lot of those. And you've also got Flash Gordon and the Martian in 1/8 scale there. Yeah, there you go. So Always cool. I could, how about an SST in Air Canada colors or,
Like you think Air Canada would ever have bought one of these? The
well,
only place they could land it would be Nunavut.
I know, but you never know. You gotta, you know what? I'd put it in Ward Air colors.
Oh,
there you go.
Ryanair.
Ryanair, Ward Air, or the old CP, something like that. Or no, you know what? Pan Am. Put it in Pan Am, and then you can do it with your 2001 Orion, and the history
Yeah.
of Pan Am.
I do like that.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. So yeah, that's a nice one too.
And this would go nicely with the 2 Concords that I'm building right now.
Well, exactly. So I thought about that too. All right, we just mentioned Cult TV Man. Some Monarch news from our good friends at Cult TV Man. They've got the Moon suit and a new kit. This is the Monarch models, their new releases. The Moon suit's in development, should be coming in late 2023. Could be delayed, but this is 1/8 again.
That's a good size. Kind of reminds me of Major Matt Mason.
Well, yeah, exactly. And they've also got a dinosaur coming out. Something for your grandkids, Jeff.
Oh, so you could have the guy in the moon suit and the dinosaur at the same time.
And you can have the caveman, Styrasaurus and a caveman. So yeah, hopefully arriving later this year.
I wonder if Styracosaurus is a sort of a play on styrene. I don't know.
Maybe, you never know. He looks pretty annoyed because he's living in the era of caveman. So he's a very old dinosaur.
Yeah, or a very young caveman.
Yeah, they all one of them survived the asteroid impact. I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? This is not for rivet counters. This one, that's for sure.
Well, who's gonna know, right? I'm just saying.
Anybody with a little bit of knowledge about evolution might know. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Okay, scale mates. So this time I loaded just the full kits. New tool. We've got, how about some food? Food for figures for 1/8 scale. 112. My apologies, Gary. Yeah. But there is an IMSA GTB ZX Turbo from Wicked Models in 1/24th for March the 19th. March 18th, few from Metal Earth, including the Aston Martin AMR 21 and the Azerbaijan Grand Prix 1/20th.
That'll be fun for the Drive to Survive crowd.
Yep. March 17th, the Myers 200 civilian plane, VFR models, 1/72nd. Looks like it was delayed. Same thing for the Oster J, the March 16th.
Mm-hmm.
The Motors of the Triumph, and the Model H in 1/35th from our friends at Copper. Ooh, very nice.
135. That'd be
1916, yeah. Very nice.
That is it's kind of tempting.
We got a little bit of photo etch there, a little inbox review.
Well, you got spoked wheels, so you got to do something with them.
Yeah. Next up from Sputnik 3D Labs, a bunch of Soviet era aircraft of different types. Hey, March 4th, Space Godzilla. That's what more do we need to talk about?
I don't know what series that's from.
Well, it looks pretty.
He looks pretty impressive though. He looks like he's cooking with gas. He's all spiky, ready to take names and kick ass.
He's pissed off, and I would be pissed off if I had spikes on my shoulders too.
Well, that glowed and were radioactive.
How do you sleep?
Yeah, how do you even turn over?
Very carefully, I guess. What else we got here? 72nd scale SS models. Well, they come in a cardboard box. U.S. heavy tank, 3D printed, almost look like wargaming.
Yeah, they do. 172, 156.
Yeah.
Oh, the SMS Emden in 1/700th. Yeah. Commerce Raider, I believe from World War I, if I recall.
Yeah.
BA-27.
The Nemeth Parasol.
Yeah, there you go. Was this the first AWACS? No, I'm just. No.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Another circular wing. It had its thing.
But you know what? Someone could Someone could rebuild that with a jet engine, little winglet, and then actually put an AWACS pod and fool the enemy. It's not. No, it's not. It's just.
I also like that CK, the 10 horsepower B2.
The
just
Citroen,
above it,
yeah,
the Citroen
a little half track. Yeah, that looks cool. 1/35th. Let's see here. Russian
Sahara. Oh, it's a 1923 Sahara.
For the exhibition, yeah. Very cool. And of course, all back then, even when they were on safari, they had the Lewis gun to make sure the natives were, not restless.
I mean, that's probably
For
prudent.
tigers. For tigers, right? For tigers and, annoyed elephants. Anti-ship guided bomb, 1/32 scale, the Fritz X. I believe, who is it now? Revell has a Henkel in 130 at 111 and 1/32 scale. They would launch these. This is like the first. These are what are considered the first guided like bombs. These were used to great. These actually were used in the in the Med, and they actually.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A couple of things. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah. Everyone, U.S. was playing with these guided bombs, and so were a couple of others.
All right, and then we have from March 11th. Looks like it's all part of a series. Aquacultural Tank. So it's obviously an anime series. Anthony would probably know. You got like the Boston lobster in 2 colors, the fiddler crabs in a couple of colors. You got something 7 deadly skins. I don't know about that, but yeah.
I love the fact that when it says scale, it says no.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, 7 Deadly Sins is an anime series.
Yeah, I remember
That's
hearing
one of the
about
character.
That one. Oh,
I don't know about the aquaculture tank. These look like they're mecha
crabs and mecha lobsters.
Yeah, you can't really tell much about them.
Orange
by
Cat
the
Industries. Yeah, it looks like different companies. I'm sure someone knows about it. Someone who knows this stuff, let us know. Then a little bit further down, the idea of the egg tank, they're calling them baby tanks. A Holt HA-36 U.S. baby tank looks more like a British male tank, but you get the idea.
Yeah,
looks like 2 different parts. One comes with a figure. The figure looks like he's dancing. I'm just saying.
Oh wow! You got
individual tracks.
March 10th here. We got some 16th scale items.
Yeah.
Delta Force with the Gator support, that 3-axle.
Yep.
And then World War II. Got a jet and the whole crew.
Yep. Infantry MP and a 1/4-ton truck, which means they didn't get the licensing. And then that pretty well covers what we're up to because we talked about the Type 6 shuttlecraft last time.
Oh, there's that Vespa. Remember, Jeff?
Oh, I love my Vespa and a sidecar. Fantastic.
Can't go wrong. I just want to see, was there anything neat in detail sets? I'm just seeing if there's anything that jumps out. Not really. Oh, Green Strawberry has some stuff for the Razor Quest in 1/72. What I did was I unclicked on product type and then I selected detail and conversion set.
Yeah.
So they've got the cargo bay, cargo stuff, cannons, some rigging. Looks like Flight Path for the Flight Path Falcon, a detail set for the Airfix kit from Flight Path.
I clicked off new kits and the 32nd scale Jetmad's Vigan popped up.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Are they re-releasing this thing?
I believe they are.
With new parts.
Yep. Very cool.
I did not need to see that.
Sorry. Well, we did talk about the trainer one in 48 scale.
Yeah, that's more likely. Yeah.
What else? Yeah, a lot of this is new. Probably the iguana there from March the 20th, right near the bottom. That looks. Oh, it's a bridge builder. Okay, it looked really weird on the thumbnail.
Right.
I wasn't sure what they were doing. A lot of civilian aircraft, etc. Okay, that's it. Before Terry and Jeff
that's enough of that.
Outspend, before the show, they have to behave themselves prior to the show. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of trying to behave ourselves, let's have a look at what our friend Steve at Cult TV Man has this week. Let's see what's coming out next from our friends at Cult TV Man. First, some news over from Monarch. There's a moon suit coming out. They're working on that as a next release. The moon suit's in development and will hopefully be out by late 2023. They've got a 3D design available at culttvman.com. It's a 1/8 scale kit, and you can actually pre-order it already if you want. And they also have something new. They're going to produce a dinosaur kit inspired by the vintage Pyro kits. This will be the Styracosaurus Carlson Caveman. It's also in development, but they are hoping it's going to be in late 2023 as well. Bunch of what's new stuff that you can order now or pre-order. The Glow Cyclops from the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad is now available for a pre-order. Your Canopy mask for your Lost in Space Chariot for the 135th kit, the new kit, that's available for purchase. Space Clipper decals 1/350th from JT Graphics available. The Fly 1/8 scale from Monarch, it's already on back order if you can believe that, but you can join the waiting list. And then also some dragsters from Atlantis 1/25th, the Tom McEwen rear engine dragster and the Big Daddy Don Garlett Swamp Rat dragster. You can check those out as well. Also a pre-order Green Hornets Black Beauty, the 1/25th scale car with a couple of figures from Round 2 AMT. You can pre-order that as well. So lots of exciting new things. Make sure you check them out, and don't, as always, tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, always cool stuff from Steve at Cult TV Man. Okay, let's talk a little bit about stashes. Jeff, you did a posting a couple of weeks ago. And I'll let you start things off, and it's a good time for a review on how much is too much and is it all really necessary and the meaning of life, etc.
Well, the reason I posted it was because I was, well, as you'll see in the show notes and what's on the bench section, I've been finishing up a lot of things lately, and I was starting to think about new projects. What do I want to look at? What do I want to do? And I looked at the stash, and then I started thinking about the whole concept of just looking at the stash. And I don't know about you guys, but I certainly occasionally have discussions with my better half about how large is a stash, and how large a collection should you have of unbuilt kits, and are you ever going to finish them, and what am I going to do with them when you're dead, and all that good kind of conversation that we tend to have with our significant others. And I started looking at them, realizing that I really just like looking at my stash sometimes, you know. And I was sitting down, I pulled a chair over, I sat down, I had a cup of coffee, and I'm just looking at everything, and I'm thinking, well, I remember when I got that, or that's something I could really do something cool with, and I realized just having the stash alone is kind of a pleasure. And maybe that's a sort of a separate part of the hobby. I think we've talked a bit about that in the past, but I kind of wonder, and then you get into the whole, yeah, but I'm never going to build all of these, and maybe my tastes have changed over the years, and maybe there's a bunch. We've got our April IPMS London swap night coming up. Maybe it's a time to relieve myself of the burden of some of these kits, frankly, so that I can get some more at Heritage Con. So, so that was where it was coming from. So I posted on the Scale Model Podcast page, basically saying I really get a kick out of looking at other people's stashes online, because I enjoy just sort of identifying kits that I may have made when I was a kid, or kits that I'd love to build now. But I never felt, I always kind of felt a little guilty because I'd never published my own, and so shared my own. So I took a couple of pictures and posted them up there. We got a lot of good comments back, a lot of likes, but also just a lot of people saying, yeah, you know what? I like just collecting the kits too, and I like looking at them and thinking about them, and that's a big part of the hobby as well. So that was kind of where this topic started, and I figured maybe we can just start and run with it a bit and see what we can think, see what each of you guys think.
Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, you know, it is, and you know, for gentlemen of a certain age, we've been collecting these kits for 40 years. And the stuff that was available back then, some of it is still pretty good, but a lot of it's outdated, and you're not going to build it now. ICM just released their B26, or it will release pretty soon. And I've got at least 2 Monogram B26s up there, and there's nothing wrong with them. They depending on how accurate you want all the details to be, in the scribing and the panels and all of that, whereas ICM's probably going to pretty much get it right. So what do you do with those? What do you do? Nobody, I mean, they're not going to get you any money, but they're not, you know, it's just taking up space now. So I can't take a picture of mine. I can take a picture of a couple stacks of boxes, because it's all boxed off. And at one point I went through and consolidated boxes and got rid of some stuff, but then I put papers on the outside with what's in each box, so at least I can get up there and I can see it.
Mhm.
Some of those have been changed, and I haven't bothered changing the inventory exterior, but I have an inventory on Excel or Google documents anyway, so at least I know what I've got. just as we were talking this morning, it's like, oh, I mean, this evening, I was like, I pulled four things off of the list. I put 4 new things on the list.
Yeah. Very true.
Well,
Very true. And I think, go ahead, Jeff.
I did a spreadsheet last fall in response to a discussion with my wife, because we had debated about, okay, well, how many models have you got started and you haven't quite finished yet? And she's not, don't get me wrong, she's not aggressive about it. She's not angry about it. She's just curious more than
I mean, she's not wrong.
No, and she's not wrong. I'm not gonna disagree. So I sat down and I thought, okay, I've got maybe 20 that I have to finish. And that was just ballparking it in my head. I did the full inventory, went through it all. I had 80 models that I started and haven't finished.
No problem.
Yeah. And I thought it was 20. Okay. That explains a little bit about how men measure things, I guess. I don't know, but whatever. It was fun doing the list. I even enjoyed making the list. And that was kind of strange. But anyway, whatever. That's all good. How about you, Stuart?
Well, I've gone through fits and starts. I've tried to not, I tend to go through phases too about things I'll be interested. Like for a while, I was going to be doing a lot of 135th armor, and I did a lot. And then I kind of got bored of it, particularly the German armor. So I got rid of most of it. I've got a couple left that I still want to build, but I tend to, it's funny. I've noticed I've really become a lot more selective. But then at the same time, there is some cases where some of the older kits might be useful for some people, as long as you realize, you're not building it. You're not going to win a contest with it. I don't enter contests. So like, for example, when that collection came in from the local hobby store, Brofdale's, I've been having fun just building some of these what ifs over the last 2 years. What if Canadian fighters? And, or I find a very old 172nd, and I, not quite, but I almost just slap it together, throw some glue and paint at it, throw some Canadian decals, and it's done. It's never going to win a model contest, but I've been enjoying doing that. And there's something to be said about that too. But yeah, I definitely, when I always like to look at newer things, like definitely when I look at my stash right now, I've got like 6 48 scale Spitfires, 4 48 scale Hurricanes, a couple of Mosquitoes, those ones I can see me building because I enjoy building those over and over. But there's also a few other things that, I just know it was interesting at first, but it definitely be lower down on the list.
For me, to Terry's point about the older kits and the newer kits being significantly better.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. I agree.
Agreed.
The challenge that I have is I really like those older kits, and particularly the old monogram ones with the raised panel lines and the fantastic wheel well detail for that era. It was state of the art, and I still like building those kits.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's why, things like Atlantis and stuff like that, the whole, resurgence of the nostalgia stuff, and the odd scales and that. Go ahead.
And we've seen newer kits of some subjects over the years that just didn't hold a candle to those monogram kits.
Right.
Yeah, sure, they needed, a lot of them needed a little bit of work. Some of them needed full interiors because they really didn't have them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Other ones had more interior than you could see.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of all the bombers that, say, Bill Coster mastered for them.
Mm-hmm.
They were phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And they still are.
Well, and that's the thing. We are truly in the golden age. If you want to take the time and go absolutely insane on detailing a kit, whatever it is, you can probably find it. You'll spend 3 times as much on the photo etch. But you can go to town, and I mean literally go to town on it. But at the same time, if you want some simple builds, there's nothing wrong with that too. Jeff, I actually found your post that you did to our club page from last year's Heritage Con with your haul. I'm just going to throw it out in the show note.
Oh, thank you so much.
No, sorry, not the show, because it's a private group. I'm going to throw it out into the chat in the stash into the chat here. But it's interesting when you see you've got a good mix here.
I know.
Of old and there you go, of old and new stuff, and it's absolutely true. It's like when I go, it's very similar. I was actually pretty good. I got a couple of not nearly as many of you, and I see there's that Typhoon I wanted, but that's fine. But again, you got some armor, you got a whole mix of things.
I did.
Yeah, and that's what makes it fun.
And to me, and this is another part of it. Earlier today, I was flipping through a collection of old magazines that I picked up, and I read an article in Scale Aircraft Modeling from 1996, and this is a UK publication. And the guy was going on about how to save money modeling, and his whole approach was you don't need to buy then in 1996 the state-of-the-art new kit, which would cost you a fortune at £8.
Yeah,
when you could buy one that's a little bit older for half that, and then put a little work into it and be proud of what you've done, and you don't have to spend a fortune on resin because that won't be seen anyway and all that kind of stuff. My point is that this discussion has been going on for a long time, probably for as long as there have been models.
Well, and that's what I remember too, and that's the thing now. Social media, in some ways it's been great, but in other ways it can kind of put people off. People are seeing what some people are posting and winning contests, and it puts them off, saying, "Oh, I won't build that because I'll never be able to compete with that." Unless you really want to compete in a contest, the only person you're potentially competing with is yourself. And if you're happy with the way it turns out, some people like to say, as long as whatever I do, it's a little bit better than the time before, and that's what I try and do. But in other ways, if you just want to do something and let it, just show off it's something you want to build, and then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, and I think what we're going to see slowly but surely as we go, as people get older, you're going to be seeing a lot more of these older ones showing up, and again, the value is long gone. There might be the odd rare one, but people have to be aware that it's always a little bit sad. I see sometimes at model shows the same people over and over, and they've got the pile of kits and they're not moving them. And because they're asking too much. I'm sorry, but just old does not necessarily mean valuable.
Yeah, that value is gone for by and large.
Yeah,
I sold off a number of things to afford to buy something else last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they were collector's kits.
Yeah.
And that I was not going to build, and they were in good shape. Like the first edition of the X15 from Special Hobbies.
Right.
That sold for like $200.
Yeah, that's a rare kit. Exactly.
Yeah. Do I kind of wish I had it back?
Yeah, but like at the same time, if you tried to flog let's say a Monogram B17 in 1/72nd scale from the early 70s, you're not going to get anywhere near. I just
gave one away.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's yours now.
Yeah, I've done that sort of thing too. If it makes a kid's day, then so be it. But and that's the thing people still have to realize. And I'm seeing people getting better at it, but you're still seeing the odd time. And this is where we talk about. And like I said, we just recently, my father-in-law passed, and he's got a lot of auto tools and stuff like that. And this is where we talk about let your family know what the odd valuable ones are, or make arrangements with your club. We've done that several times in our local club. We'll come in and help to make sure the family can get a fair price.
Yeah, make notes if you keep your spreadsheet. Make notes. Does that kit have aftermarket and other stuff in the box? Is it a collector's item? Is it a rare kit?
Yeah.
Because some of these have only been released once.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing you got to watch for example, Airfix has been releasing their classic series. So like before, trying to get the Fairy Rotodyne was harder, but now they're re-releasing it. So that's going to, go down, even though it's an original tool. Things like things like that. But yeah, you have to be realistic about it too. In the end, it is stuff, and you gotta make those decisions.
The other thing too, I gotta say too, as far as the old versus new, I have a bunch of new, wing nuts and top end Tamiya, that kind of stuff, kits sitting around to work on. They kind of terrify me a little bit.
Yeah.
But the older kits are the ones that are a little less state of the art, and that immediately devalued when all of these ones came out.
Mm-hmm.
They're still really good kits, and I don't feel the same worry about screwing it up by making them. And I'm more willing to try new techniques or try something different with the ones that are less, where there's less on the line, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a good excuse to try paint chipping and salt weathering and streaking and everything else. If you've just done a basic build on it and do a decent paint job, just to push your own limits, just to do it.
Well, yeah, like one of the things in the Brofdale 72nd stash I picked up was one of the original like Airfix. It's from the late 60s. It was a Westland Whirlwind in 1/72nd scale. And the mold dates back from probably early 60s. It was in a bag, but I built it up as a paint mule, basically, because the cockpit consisted, it didn't even have a seat. You literally put the pilot figure on top of like the connecting sprue bar. There was nothing. The only thing I added to that was a cockpit. But even then, it's like, it's use them as a paint mule or stuff like that. Like I've been enjoying working on the Bullfighter, but I'll probably go back to one of the 72nd scale what ifs just to slap one together again.
Yeah. So don't even, if it doesn't have a super cockpit and everything else, you don't even have to do that.
I don't. I
just
painted
blew
over.
Blew it.
I did that with several of the 72nd scale series because I didn't want to bother masking, and I was just trying to get them out and exactly. So
treat it like a desktop model and paint the glass blue.
Yep, exactly. So, in the end, you're building for you. You only build to satisfy you. If you're the competitive sort, hey, good for you. If you're, you want to go that way, then that's great. But for the rest of us, just relax. It's a hobby. You're supposed to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I think that's always the takeaway from this podcast. Anyway, it's always build for yourself. But a lot of us are our worst critics too.
Oh, we are. We can be. Yeah. You know what? We should point out we have at IPMS London. We've had a couple new members lately, and we have this father and his son have come to the last two meetings. And I think the kids, was he 14, he said?
Something like that, Branson.
Yeah.
Young Branson. Yeah.
Young Branson. And he's been doing some aircraft. And for a beginner, he's like knocking them out of the park, but he just enjoys himself. His dad's enjoying working with him. There's no pressure. The kid's got natural talent, but it's so cool to see. He came back last week and he had a couple of new things. Him and his dad are building, they were building 48 scale F-18s, and his look fantastic too. And he had what else? He had a YF-22 he was playing around with different weathering and like a different paint scheme, which looked pretty cool.
What was most impressive to me was just how erudite he was. He was in a room with a bunch of frankly scary old guys,
old farts,
and middle-aged guys, and he just jumped right in, talked about his builds, talked about. I mean, he was great to talk to.
Ask questions.
It was so refreshing. It was so great to see a young person really interested in the engineering and the whole. All the various elements of the hobby. And he wasn't just interested in planes. He was looking at, we had probably one of the most diverse collections of kits on our show and tell table last month. And he was interested in all of them. I mean, I think that's just fantastic. So
we're really pleased. We've had a record number of members in the club this year. Things are coming back, and I think you're going to see a lot more of that. So, really good.
Anybody on the podcast who's interested, contact IPMS London Canada and give me a call. We'd love to come out to one of our meetings.
We also do virtual meetings.
There's clubs everywhere. If you're a science fiction enthusiast in the Chicagoland area, IPMS Tech Mages, we meet out in a hobby shop.
So there you go.
Build days every time. Yeah,
we do build days on Wednesdays, and this is one of those crazy weeks. We do podcasts today. Jeff and I have a show meeting tomorrow, and then is our build night on Wednesday. So
I probably won't be able to make that. I got to go to a funeral, but
oh, that sucks. Hate it when that happens.
I know.
As long as it's not your own.
No, uncle.
And if it is, can I have your stash? Anyway,
that actually does bring up a point about death and modeling and everything, and we've covered this ground before. I'm sure we will again, but My point is that there are groups out there who rely on donations
Yes.
for both veterans and others, because a hobby like this, various arts forms and crafting, is a great way to settle the mind and focus the mind
Very
on
much
something
so.
that is not your problem at the moment.
Mhm.
We joke that this is not a hobby to relax. This will drive you insane, but it'll also save us. It is any
Yeah.
crafting is like that. It's something you do, and you have something to show for it.
Exactly.
And you're learning, and you're engaging all of your senses at the same time.
Well, this is what I say. Our Wednesday night build lights. It takes a lot for me to miss one, because quite often lately in the last little while, it's the only time I have to build. And it's really good to get together with your friends, group of guys, wind up each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of banter and a lot of
Yeah.
pleasure in that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it really is. So as far as stashes go, I strongly support them. As far as spouses' relationships to stashes, I think it's just a matter of being open and honest and
Exactly.
straightforward.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, everybody should have a hobby, and the hobby takes some money.
Yep.
Most of them do. And there's, you could be spending your money anywhere. You could be like, the old joke is, I could have a car, or I could have, I could go down, I could be playing pool with the boys down at the bar.
Exactly. There's worse things you could be doing.
Yeah.
That's the way we always say. And just to wrap it up, I was going to say, Terry, you got one more deck you're going to be adding to your stash soon, because the Katero 132nd scale Spitfire.
I have two big ones coming in now, which means I need to get rid of some stuff.
Well, I know someone in Ottawa got theirs, and I'm starting to see some showing up in the States. So
the Katari's coming, and HK's 48 scale B25J is coming.
Oh man, see,
I look forward to seeing that thing.
He's going to have to. Someone else is going to have to build a new wing in the house, Jeff.
Well, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
Where the hell do I put the stuff anymore?
Well, that's what
I've already pulled things out of the case.
Yeah. So, all righty. So that's our thing about stashes. Let's talk.
Let's put it this way. That's episode 2 of stashes, of probably 47 episodes on these types of topics.
Well, I think it's
they're not going away.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
I think it's an important thing to talk about, and particularly with the whole, we're getting older. The hobby, it's older guys now normally, and they're seeing it in the model train world too. Every sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see as we go ahead. Okay, let's talk a little bit about our good friends at Sean's Custom Model Tools. They're also going to be at Heritage Con. We're looking forward to seeing them as well. Here we go. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole decal set bottle stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so it keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's Really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. All right. What's on the bench? I'll start because, I didn't write much because I've been busy. The 48 scale bow fighter in Australian markings. I got the canopies all masked. They're complete. They've been glued on now. Hopefully we'll get the underside in primer this week, but again, tail end of the funeral arrangement, stuff like that. Still a lot of stuff going on there, and lots of prep for Heritage Con going on, getting my ducks in a row, getting the equipment ready, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're really looking forward to going there. So, but I will be on the build night on Wednesday trying to get some more done here. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. We'll see. Jeff, you've been a busy boy.
Yeah, I have. I feel kind of badly that until I looked at the pictures that Terry just sent you, I felt badly that I was overdoing it with all the pictures of the things that I sent.
No, send always lots of pictures. They're always helpful.
But yeah, so I finished the Musaru entry, the Arma Hobbies 172nd P51B in Polish markings and Polish RAF markings, and fantastic kit. I can't recommend it highly enough. It really is good. It's tricky in some sections, and you do have to pay attention to the instructions and test fit everything just to be sure you're putting the part in the right way. but beyond that, it's just an outstandingly molded kit, beautiful detail, just beautiful little thing.
Yeah, I don't think I've met a Mustang kit that isn't tricky somewhere. I think it's just the plane.
It could be absolutely right. But I was really pleased with it. I submitted the pictures a week before they were due, and I got an email back from Ian, the judge, saying, we're the first ones over the line. Congratulations. That's wonderful. So I asked if we got a prize for that.
Bonus points.
Bonus, yeah, definitely bonus points.
Yeah, he said, no, shut up, go away. And that was about it. I also finished with the things we had been talking about since December, those two 3D printed 1/18 scale jets.
Yes.
That was built at the London Jet Aircraft Museum. I finished them and delivered them.
They looked awesome.
That was kind of nice. I also wrote an article about that one for IPMS Canada, and it should be in their Beaver Tales, which is their electronic magazine that comes out, I think, in May.
Right.
We'll see. I finished the CL52 and Orenda Iroquois engine, which is essentially the B-47 in Canadian service. And I also wrote an article about that one for IPMS Canada. That'll be in RT, God knows when, because it's got a long runway, that one. Stuart tempted me with my first ever Gundam kit, which is, according to club members who are into Gundam, a terrible kit, but I didn't find it terrible. It was an old Bandai 144 DJ, and it kind of looks like a samurai, a big thing with a big samurai skirt on.
And a big cod piece. We had to make sure we got you the cod piece.
I know, but the cod piece is under the skirt, which is a weird trans kind of thing. Anyway, either way, it worked fine. It was fun building it, and now I have to get on to painting it. So that's next. And the last thing I started this about a year and so ago. I picked up an Airfix 1/144th Concorde model from the Bruffdale stash, and lo and behold, inside there were two complete kits, one of which had been started. It was the original prototype Concorde kit from the early 1960s, mid-1960s by Airfix, and the previous owner had painted it in gold and silver hand-brushed tester's paint, so it was thick as a brick. And
wow.
Yeah, but I managed to strip most of that off and start putting them back together again, and I'm looking forward to getting those to look like real planes. So that's where I am. That's 2 weeks. But amongst all of that, we had 2 weeks of family time that managed to get my wife and me both infected with colds, and that's about it. Grandchildren
do that. It's because it's their parents get them sick to make you sick, because you fill them full of sugar and give them back when you're babysitting them.
And one of my daughters and her husband are both elementary school teachers, so there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. They bring it home themselves.
It's a walking petri dish.
Yeah. So I stuck all those pictures on the page so people
look
can
good.
get a good laugh at them.
They look good. Well, as he says, he's got the Gundam here in the Kershaw Stewart pose because he actually enjoyed it, folks. So, I'm all the folks at Wonderfest will be down there one day. One of us. Okay, Mr. Measley. I'm looking at these photos. They're looking pretty cool.
Yeah, I couldn't attach them on the iPad, but I could do it here though.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, I spent some time working on that military version of the Babs. It's got color on it now.
Mm-hmm.
Got a few coats of the that Japanese Army greenish gray color. Looks good.
It does.
So I had some things to figure out on it. That the cowl with the engine didn't fit correctly, and to figure it out, it's actually the exhausts that I had to break the exhaust bonds, so it would actually sit down where it should be. I'm carving stuff out. I'm doing weird. Finally realized, no, the exhausts are just too narrow. So now it's on. It looks good.
I'm amazed at all the windows. Look at all the glazing.
It's a phenomenal greenhouse, isn't it? All those planes from the period had these, the Devastator with its massive greenhouse and some of these other ones. Yeah. It's interesting because it's a huge greenhouse, but the pilot and the radio operator have two holes in it. So it's not open. It's not like a Sonya or something. It's really weird.
So what did you use to mask? Did it come with a mask set?
So I went through a couple mask sets. That's a Montex mask.
Okay.
Which is good for the flat bits, but their vinyl is a little stiff.
Yeah.
So you get it down, you've got to paint right away.
You got to do it. Yeah, I had one for a Hurricane, similar.
Dead Design Studios had a couple of them.
Okay.
But there are two different ones, and I can't figure out how to tell the difference.
Right.
Because the Babs there's two different versions. There's an early version with that big 9-cylinder engine on it, and the later version with the smaller 14-cylinder engine.
Right.
And those have different canopies, and I think even the 9-cylinder version of it had different canopies. Partway through production, they realized it was too short, so they made it 4 or 6 inches or something higher.
Right.
So the different mask sets are there.
Okay.
So just be aware, guys, if it is that there are two different mask sets, because there's two different canopies.
Yeah.
What else? I've been masking up that Bandai dropship, as you can see.
Wow.
A lot of hexes.
Lots of little, what are they, 5mm hexagons.
Yeah.
Do you punch those yourself, Terry?
I printed a sheet of it on the silhouette.
Wow.
But each of them are placed by hand.
Oh my gosh.
So I've that's been my model meeting project, is applying those, and everyone just looks at me like I'm insane.
It's a good therapeutic, yeah, because I would think, sometimes like put them in pairs or print some with 3s in a row or whatever.
Well,
but
I'm going to have to pull some of them off and print a sheet on Tamiya tape paper.
Right.
Because vinyl just it is not flexible enough to go over some of the curves. So I'll be doing that. I also want to think of these as panels, and so I don't want to cross panel lines with them.
Right.
So are these sort of like reactive armor, or what are they?
They're color panels.
Oh, yeah, but what are they supposed to represent? Are they
color panels?
Color. It's supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be pretty.
Oh, okay.
They would be changing like chromophores, right? It doesn't make any sense, but it looks pretty cool.
Okay.
So they would be. Yeah, because they'd be so large that if you had color shifting chromophores, you could make them much, much smaller, coat the whole plane in it so you can change colors as you want.
Yeah. Gee, what's that blob in the sky? It looks huge, but it keeps changing color.
That's so loud. I can't see nothing, but it's
loud. Can't see anything. It's loud. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea, is just that these are color panels that can change colors, and I'll be doing a camouflage scheme with them.
Very cool.
That's cool. I really like it.
So instead of digi camouflage, it will literally be just a boatload of hexagons all over the thing.
Very neat.
Crazy.
And I couldn't resist. I did start cleaning up parts on the Halberd Models Seahawk.
I figured you would. You were very taken by that kit when it came out, and yeah.
I got that in the Mustang X, and I have to say these are the best resin aircraft kits I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're
Wow.
immaculately cast. They're beautifully designed. They fit together. I mean, the Seahawk, once you get a little bit of the casting flash off and stuff,
Yeah.
it falls together.
Well, I know Brett Green did a review on Hyperscale and he said the same thing. It was absolutely gorgeous. He gave it
Yeah.
3
So
thumbs
buy
up.
stuff from those guys.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the oh man, I'm blanking the seaplane bit.
The float.
The float. That was the
Yes.
word I was looking for. I was just looking at the detail on
the floaty bit.
Yeah, the floaty part, the part that gets wet. It looks amazing. Just looks amazing.
Yeah, it's like I say, they are exceptional. I'll bring them along with me if I don't forget, so you guys can have a look at them.
Yeah, they look good.
And the clear cast parts are immaculate and robust, and it's just it's extraordinary.
Very nice.
Looks beautiful. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Nice looking.
So
kit.
these are these are the reasons I'm not building stuff out of the stash. It's like these are unusual. No one else has a 48 scale Seahawk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
put that on there, and like I had mentioned it to Tom Cleaver about it and asking, is it actually the same Curtis Green interior? Probably yes, but and his reply was, "Oh, you're one of the 100 people who got a kit." Like, if that's all they're making, it almost seems a shame.
Yeah.
Well, you
Well.
never know. Maybe someone else will see the demand and maybe we'll see an injected.
Maybe they'll
one.
repop it.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
they'll-
never know.
Yeah.
You never know. I think it's Mike from Plastic Model Mojo. He's been doing a catapult and an airplane. And he's back to working on that. And I've been seeing some pictures of that making the rounds.
I would like to find catapults, U.S. and Japanese catapults. I have an old Japanese catapult kit that it was pretty good, but the resin is very thin, so I don't know. I'll see what I can do with it. But
Yeah.
I think these are the kind of things that 3D printing should excel at.
Well, exactly. Well, the good thing is, you and Mike can compare notes at
Yeah.
Heritage Con because, he is coming up. So we're looking forward to seeing them.
Yep, I reached out already.
Yep, that'll be good. So you guys can do that and compare. Yeah, no, I think we're going to have a lot of fun there. So
Yeah.
I'm just, here we go. I found one of his catapults. I think it was a kit, but I'm trying to remember where he got it from. But we'll ask him when we get him on.
Mhm.
We're going to have him there. We'll have our recorders and all that. So, all right. Anything else not really much for what's new or things we've seen. We've pretty well covered it all. At
I
this
don't have
point.
anything to add.
No,
for things
that's
I've
fine.
seen.
Again, we'll have a lot after Heritage Con, so we'll definitely
Yep.
do that. All right. So we're also again sponsored by Return to Kit Form. Check out their web store. Even though they're not doing Moscato anymore, you can still get some amazing Macross stuff. Home of the Valkyrie and Macross aircraft canopy masks, which are absolutely fantastic. I've got a couple. I got a couple of Macross kits coming to Neo Tokyo. I think 3. So I'm gonna have to get some more masks for that. Check out their web store. They have an awful lot of other cool things as well, especially if you're in the Australia area. So check them out as well. For more modeling podcast goodness, you can check out the other modeling podcasts at modelpodcast.com. I think we're up to 12 now, 12 or 13
Wow.
different themes, even one out of Finland, I believe, or the Baltics. So definitely check that out. As always, leave us a positive review. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, our very own website where you will see the world's best show notes from a modeling podcast. So I've been told in reviews, with photos and stuff like that. You can see what Jeff and Terry are working on. Occasionally I throw up one of mine too. So yeah, definitely check it out. And again, if you're hearing this on Saturday night, because I am hoping to get it out Saturday afternoon, make sure if you're coming to Heritage Con, make sure you look us up. We'll all have our blue shirts. Don't forget your blue shirts, gentlemen.
Yes.
Don't forget.
Yeah, I have to get it out of the paint booth.
Get it out of the paint booth. Yeah, I know.
Remind
where
me
you-
again on Friday so I don't forget. But
Yeah.
I
Yep, that's all
be
right.
able to.
I'm hoping to have stickers made by then, but if not, we'll have some cards. and goodies and lots of goodies. So that'll be fun. And if you behave yourself, Jeff may sign your arm or your model kits,
or sing you a little tune. You never know.
You never
Oh,
know.
that's Terry. That's your
The
specialty.
singing lawyer. The singing lawyer. Exactly. We could be onto something there. So,
No, you couldn't be.
damn it. Shot down again. All right. So for episode 113 of the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
My name's Jeff Highland.
And I'm Terry Measley, reminding you to go find some bargains from other people's stash sales.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed, Terry, you sent us a spreadsheet of your stash.
I've
Yeah,
already
you can
started.
look through that if you
I'm
want.
going to be looking through that. Yeah, might be some additional purchases. All right. Thank you and be well.